Thank you, Joe. And ladies and gentlemen, let me say first, I'm very used to being upstaged by Malcolm Homeline, but not when he's not even in the room, not when he's 25 years younger. And so to slightly compensate for that, I'm simply going to say Joe looks the same 25 years later. Malcolm looks very different. The organization that I am chairman of, and Malcolm Homeline is the extremely well-known and outstanding CEO, the Conference of Presidents of Major American Organizations, is the umbrella that represents 51 major American Jewish organizations and really represents the organized American Jewish community in international affairs and relations with most of the world. And Malcolm and I last week, with 48 hours notice, skipped our traditional Thanksgiving and took a small but very distinguished group to Israel for 6 days to show solidarity with the people of Israel, 4.5 million of whom, civilians, were in the rocket fire of the terrorist organization. We visited injured, bereaved, as well as government officials. I got back from that mission yesterday morning. I am jet lagged. It was an unexpected mission, so I'm extremely backed up in my work. And in addition, I'm here today solely, come from New York, we'll go back to New York, I'm here solely to attend this occasion. And I'm telling you this not to ask for your gratitude, but simply to give you an idea of how significant I think this celebration of the 100th anniversary of the independence of Albania is, and to bring you greetings from the entire American organized Jewish community. I think the reasons why I and our community attach so much importance to this should be clear, and in many cases have been alluded to and described already. Let me put it in a slightly different light. The century during which Albania has been independent has been a century of drama and trauma, conceivably unparalleled in thousands of years in Jewish history. First, it has been a century in which indescribable horror has been experienced. Everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. Not a horror of a type we never knew before in Jewish history. Certainly the scope was unique. 40% of our world population and a higher percentage of our religious heritage was destroyed in Europe in World War II. We have, as you well know, looked for the perpetrators and continue, as they go into their late 90s, to look for the perpetrators of this horror, not in order to have vengeance, but in order to do everything we can to publicize what happened and to make sure that it won't happen again to Jews, to Albanians, or to anyone else. But just as important as our search for perpetrators is the search that we have assiduously conducted for those righteous people among the nations who rose above human expectation, risked themselves, put themselves out, sacrificed themselves, and acted with extraordinary humanity to save whatever of our people they could in their midst. And in that regard, we are so grateful to know that we have uncovered the extraordinary behavior of the Albanian people and of Albania toward its Jewish population and to its neighboring Jewish population. The fact that Albania has been called a righteous nation by Yad Vashem, that 69 individual Albanians have been named as righteous people of the world in an official recognized capacity is itself a reason to come here no matter how tired I may happen to be. And the fact that the Jewish population of Albania increased during World War II is something that the American Jewish community will forever remember, and so will world Jewry. far, so has there been extraordinary revival and hope. And again, that theme is related, in my opinion, to this occasion today, to the relationship that we are celebrating while we celebrate Albania's independence. Unbelievably, the Jews now have their own state after 2,000 years. It's a state whose declaration of independence is now in its 65th year. Might catch up on Albania someday. It's a democratic state that is Jewish in character, democratic, and where high tech is changing and improving the world with what I think I can modestly call Jewish talent and Jewish initiative. And it is more important than anything else a refuge for all Jews, so that all the difficulties we face, what happened to us 60 years ago, simply will not happen again. Once again, we enormously appreciate Albania to be one of the real lights in the world of understanding of the accomplishment of the State of Israel, of understanding the decent character and of allying with the State of Israel in a very, very hostile world. First, the government of Albania repeatedly speaks out against terrorism and repeatedly calls the Iranian president, by analogy, properly to Nazis. Next, the Albanian government, your Prime Minister in particular, have repeatedly made it clear that we all want just settlement of the Israel-Palestinian conflict. The way to that settlement is bilateral negotiations, not unilateral declarations brought to the United Nations. And so, where does it come from? You have shown us hospitality, heroism, sacrifice, tolerance, freedom. In spite of the fact that, as has been mentioned here, Albania has been subjected for hundreds of years under Ottoman rule, for a nasty few years under Nazi rule, and then for more than half a century under indescribable and really unique dictatorship of the communist regime. Where did this incredible show of humanity survive on a people so beleaguered? Your inner soul proved itself, and I've been reading, and I've been helped by my host today, I've been reading about something called Ressa. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but it is apparently a concept that needs more and more study and understanding, because it is rich in ethical tradition and in spiritual tradition, and it is apparently a good description of the soul of the Albanian people. We are also a people who have been beleaguered like you. We are a tiny fraction of the world's population, and the analogies between us have been stated, and I think they are seriously obvious. So it's a special privilege to be here, to be associated with the great Tom Lantos, may he rest in peace and may his memory be blessed, to be with Joe and Shirley Diaguardi, who have done so much to bring these important facts to bear. We are from the Near East region and the Balkan region, are probably two of the most difficult and complex in the world. I want to thank the Retners for chairing this today. We'll continue in friendship. I thank you for that friendship, and we will thrive together and overcome evil